Welcome to the new session ahead. This is the first module of business law, which is definitely going to give you an edge over other subject streams. Business law subject is of such an interest as it opens a new software in the mind which makes the student learn with new terminology through various national and international cases, which are the foundation of Indian Contract Act. Every country has different set of acts that are required to regulate the conduct of the people in their land. That is why to understand different criteria and different norms for the same purpose, one need to learn a popular term that is law of land. Compare the case of driving norms in US and India. In USA, speed is measured in miles per hour, whereas in India it is kilometers per hour. US recognizes imperial units of measuring speed, whereas India follows metric units. In USA, vehicles are left-hand driven, whereas in India, vehicles are right-hand driven. Every law is initiated to fill the gaps in the society for civilized living. Whenever some gap or problem is recognized in the society, its rule book is framed by designated people in the form of a bill. Indian Parliament has two houses, Lok Sabha, which is the lower house of the Parliament, and Rajya Sabha, which is the upper house of the Parliament. A bill can be initiated in either of the houses, and if passed by the majority in the same house, it is forwarded to the other house. If it is approved by the majority vote in both the houses, then the bill is presented to the President for his consent. Then approved bill is acknowledged as an act or law. Essence of framing an act is its effectiveness. Law is said to be effective when it delivers justice in the required field, maintains law and order, and provides an equitable framework to adhere to have lawful conduct. Equity. Its effectiveness, the law's effectiveness, lies in its special feature, that is equity. That means once law is framed, it is applicable to all the citizens of that country with equity. You can check the picture clearly shows the difference of equality versus equity. Equity is much broader concept than equality. Are the laws static? Can laws be modified or amended? When law is lacking at some point, it means there are some chances that it will be misused, so requires fresh additions, changes to the provisions. Such change or modification means amendment. No law is perfect to be static in all times. Laws are dynamic to meet the current requirements related to specific domain. That means area of impact. Let's go for simple example of daily life and current scenario. Earlier, covering your face or using a face mask was prohibited by law. But due to COVID-19, new provisions to fight the current health problems need to recognize fresh changes in various laws have been made. Please wear a mask to stay well. In this lecture, we have already discussed the purpose, need, and lawmaking process in India. Further, we will talk on business laws and their framework, their sources and scope, and a brief introduction with legal terms like agreement, contract, valid, void, and voidable. Let's go for reviewing a few definitions. Definition by Salmond. Law is the body of principles recognized and applied by the state in administration of justice. Another definition by Austin. A law is a rule of conduct imposed and enforced by the sovereign. Few important characteristics of law are derived from various definitions. A sense of enacting and enforcing law is civilized living, peaceful and progressive environment in the state. Sovereign authority backed by political and social systematic approvals should be allowed to deliver justice. As per Merriam-Webster dictionary, sovereign is the one that exercises supreme authority within a limited sphere. Sovereign authority is defined as entity such as parliament whose actions are legal and in whom resides the ultimate power to lay down, modify and rescind the laws. There are various laws. To understand why there are so many laws in a country, let's go for simple example. To treat a human being, there are various specializations of doctorates like heart specialist. Then there is ortho specialization. To treat bones and muscles, for eye specialist there is a different segment of medicines. Then there is list is various specialization of doctorates like heart specialist. Then there is ortho specialization. To treat bones and muscles, for eye specialist there is a different segment of medicines. Then there is list is unending. Similarly, take the case of any country. We will find list of acts applied simultaneously to give right track to the group of people running business organizations and providing value to the customers as well as investors. Laws meant for a graduate student. BCom and BBA students, first take a breath of relief. You have just to go for few laws, that is few basic business laws. First one is Indian Contract Act 1872, the Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, the Sale of Goods Act 1930, and some classes may have the addition of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, and most of the cases you have already done in 10 plus 2. You are familiar with Indian Partnership Act while studying business organization and partnership accounts, how to resolve partnership differences in case partnership agreement is silent, meaning of mercantile law. The term mercantile law is defined as legal rules which govern and regulate mercantile transactions. Every business enterprise has to mark its legal boundary to ensure safety against legal feud. Business law ensures a just and orderly conduct of business transactions between the involved parties by establishing a framework of rules to be followed to avoid any kind of misunderstandings, injury, affliction in business relations. It is also a guiding light in the times of legal disputes between organizations. Business law or mercantile law, these refer to those legal rules and regulations that govern business transactions. These laws provide confirmation that business dealings mean law in the letter and spirit. Scope of business law. Every business comes under the scanner of business law, whether big or small, or any kind of business, whether for profit or non-profit organization. Pharmacy, insurance sector, medical clinic or hospital, manufacturing, importing or exporting goods or services, engineering, construction, finance, club or society, school or college or university, they fall in the ambit of provisions of various laws. Most basic of all is business law, which regulates all business dealings. Sources of Indian mercantile law: English mercantile law, acts or statutes, precedents, and customs and usage. First source of law is English mercantile law. Present Indian judicial system owes much to British influence. That is the reason why Indian mercantile law is derived from English mercantile law. Britishers came to India in 1600 AD with the establishment of East India Company. Thus, it impacted the way of conduct of trade and industry too. Acts or statutes. Either of the House can put up the bill. Then, after the approval by majority, it is forwarded to the other House. Central law is enacted when bill is passed by both the houses of the parliament. Both the legislatures, central as well as state legislatures, are empowered to enact laws relating to the matters which come within their jurisdiction. Examples of acts or statutes. Who enacts acts? We can take an example. The Companies Act 1956 was enacted by the Parliament, whereas sales tax acts of various states are enacted by respective state legislatures. An agreement may be enforceable at the time when it was made, but later on, due to certain situational changes, it may become unenforceable. Thus, a valid contract gets converted to void contract. And check for voidable agreements also. An agreement which is enforceable by law at the option of one or more of the parties thereto, but not at the option of the other or others, is voidable contract. Recent example of India bans nearly 60 Chinese apps, including TikTok and WeChat. The move is the part of tit-for-tat retaliation after the Indian and Chinese militaries clashed either this month. A few popular ones are TikTok, popular video sharing social networking platform. The banned apps include WeChat, UC Browser, ShareIt, Baidu Map, etc. Earlier their use was valid, but now it is void. Now check for the difference between valid and void. Any Indian company dealing with these platforms and having contracts, after the government has declared the banning of Chinese apps, all valid contracts stands to be void contracts. That is, no party can legally perform or enforce the contract on the other party. Thank you. Keep on accomplishing your targets. Every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. So stay blessed. Keep on working. Hard work is the key to success. Thank you.